Catholic Herald says Catholics set to exceed Anglicans for first time since Reformation due to younger churchgoers. I got to be honest, I'm not super versed on this dispute or whatever from Catholics and Anglicans, but we do have another story, and it's from the Wall Street Journal. As Catholic Church enters a new era, conservative U.S. members push it right. The conservative wing is reviving old practices and growing more assertive in the battle for the future of the church and the nation. These stories are part of a growing trend of younger people becoming Christian. And I think we had another story here, which is in line with this. And it is new research, belief in Jesus rises fueled by younger adults. Something is happening. And we can see this. This graph is actually very interesting. Percent of U.S. adults who say, quote, I've made a personal commitment to follow Jesus that is still important in my life today. And in 2008, 77% said yes. And it has gone down quite a bit. However, since around the pandemic, it's gone from 54 to 66%. And I'm even seeing in my own personal life, friends of mine are, people that I know, I should say, have converted. There's a prominent professional skateboarder who is largely viewed as kind of a degenerate, recently got baptized. I mean, these guys are viewed as street, scummy, drunk, guys. Russell Brand, viewed as kind of a degenerate guy for a long time, and he's turning his life around. I will stress with the context of this conversation that I'm calling this a white pill, despite the fact that I will fully admit I am not a Christian, but I think everyone can agree when your choice is degenerate, urban, dopamine chaser, and routine church go with a moral tradition, there's one that's preferable.
100%.
Substantially more preferable.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Substantial.
Clean, functioning, traditional people who are living in a healthy life versus people who are living as if they're going to die tomorrow and then just doing drugs and wasting away. This is a huge white pill. We're not even post fourth turning. Fourth turning hasn't even happened, and young people are starting to adhere to a moral tradition.
Yeah, this is a pattern that's been going on, just maybe not as dramatic, but for years as people have kids. And I'd be curious to know if your acquaintances, if your friends, if they have young kids, if that's like they've gotten to that point in their life where when they have children, they look back in their own past and think, man, I want some of the same stuff I had. Is that
well? What I'll tell you is, in my life, the people that are having kids were already Christian, and the people who are not having kids have either abandoned it or not. But what I will say is, my wife and I actually had this conversation. We're both lapsed Catholics. We are not in, like, I'm not going to lie to people and pretend to be a Christian because this is like, some people probably would do it. However, we both agreed our daughter's life would be infinitely better if she grew up with a church, because we know that we did too, even though we left. And the concern we have now is it's kind of a challenge. I don't want to go to a church and pretend to have faith in something I don't. I kind of feel it's disrespectful, despite the fact that most Christians have said, no, come anyway. We want you there. But we also know that this upbringing helped me and my wife be good people. It helped us grow and good, learn good morals. If we don't give our daughter that, then she won't have what we had. And so we want her to understand the things we understand and experience what we understand to a limited effect. And so that is the challenge, I suppose. So we have talked about how do we do that? And of course, the response from 100% of Christians is, please come.
Yeah.
And we were like, well, I don't know. I just don't feel we could do that.
Sarah and I have been to church 4 or 5 times in the past 2 or 3 months. We've gone with Mary a couple times. Sarah's got a friend that we've gone to church with them. Both of us are lapsed Catholics. Have my
Everybody's coming back.
I mean, well, look, the fact of the matter is, like, it really is a preferable way to raise your family.
Mm-hmm. I went the opposite way. I'm a converted Catholic.
There you go.
I was Episcopalian until I married my wife.
They went woke though, didn't they?
Oh yeah, the Episcopalian, they've got a female pope. Like,
oh God,
yeah.
Heavens.
Yeah.
And the point of that is just to get people in they think that they need to be in vogue just to get people in the pews, and really what they need to do is actually be a holy church that and allow, if they believe, allow God to work his magic,
Well, I've got 2 daughters, 9 and 12, and one of the single best decisions my wife and I made is sending our kids to a classical Christian school rather than the public schools. I mean, it's not just that they get a Christian education, but that they're not exposed to the toxic woke public schools.
Yeah.
And with school choice expanding across the country, I think what you're white pilling today, it's only going to continue to go.
I've told the story quite a bit, but I think y'all will like it. It's Seamus Coughlin of Freedom Tunes. Shout out to Freedom Tunes. It's amazing. You should subscribe on YouTube. Seamus said, hey, meet up with me after we get out of, we do a Latin Mass. And I said, okay. And me and my brother showed up as he was getting out. And here I see people wearing their Sunday's best, having conversations, laughing. The children were playing. The children were also dressed in their Sunday's best. And I just thought to myself, isn't this infinitely preferable to what we see in the cities with kids doing drugs and running around and joining gangs and yes. I'll take some of that.
One of the masses that I went to recently was a Latin Mass, and I had never been to a Latin Mass before. And I tell you what, whatever you think of a Catholic service, the Latin Mass is you get transported 500 years into the past. It's maybe 1,000 years ago. It's totally medieval, and it's kind of wow, this is kind of metal.
That's fun. It's kind of metal.
So.
It's all in Latin too, right?
Yeah, all in Latin. Yeah.
Wow. How do you know what they're saying?
There's in the I forget what it's called, the program.
Okay.
It's actually translated. You have one page is Latin, one page.
Do you sing?
Gotcha.
No, I don't, because I don't know Latin.
No,
and I don't know the song.
I'm like, do they sing?
Oh, yeah, they do. They do, yes.
Because I mean, if Phil Labonte was singing metal Latin,
but it's actually really cool. It's a trip.
Well, the question is, can you get the benefits without the foundations? So, if you, not as individuals, but as a society, if we recognize whether it's the old school Catholic Church or a Baptist church, I'm Reformed Baptist, not too dissimilar in morals though. Can you have one without the other? And I think that's, 20, 30 years ago, that was kind of tried of, we're just going to kind of play along with the functions. And that's maybe how we wound up here.
I don't think that you can.
Yeah.
I don't think that, especially in our society today, I don't think you can get to the road to Damascus experience unless you surround yourself with Christians, unless you go to church, unless you're walking that path. And then if it's going to happen, if God's going to move in your life, then he's going to do it then.
I was watching that.
That's what makes the most sense to me.
I was watching Charlie Kirk on the Bill Maher Club Random. And Bill Maher made a comment about, he asked about "He is risen," the phrase referring to Easter. And Charlie Kirk says, well, it's an undying, it's immortal, it's all time, it's not a past thing, it's a current, it's always. And it's for everybody. If it was just he was risen, it's a thing that happened a long time ago. Mm-hmm. Bill Maher laughs and says it's amazing, I'm paraphrasing, but something about how someone could be intellectual but believe something so stupid. And Charlie said, it's not stupid. And Bill, that's not what I mean. What I mean is how they can make themselves come to believe these things. And I thought to myself, while I don't identify as Christian, I do believe in God. And I was thinking, I feel like a lot of Christians either don't understand or don't know how to. Maybe I shouldn't speak for other people, but the way I would explain it to Bill Maher is, in this moment, I said, Bill, I'm thinking to myself, I would ask him, can you see the color yellow over there? And he'd look and he'd say, yes, I can see yellow. Prove to me it's yellow. He'll be like, what do you mean? I can see it. It's there. I know it. I'm looking at it. I'm experiencing it. Okay, that's how I feel about God. I don't know why you don't, but for a lot of people, I think that's the way it is. You experience God similarly to how I can look and I can see, the color blue on a wall and say, I'm seeing blue. And there's an old philosophical question of, what if blue to you is red to somebody else? Well, I don't know, but I know that I am currently experiencing something, and I don't know why you can't. Bill then says, you're being stupid. I don't think he was trying to be intentionally derogatory, but he says, how could you believe something so dumb? And I'm like, could it just be that there's a perception you don't have?
Yeah, that reminds me of the C.S. Lewis quote, prolific author, genius. But he said something along the lines of, believing in God, Christianity is not looking at the sun, it's looking at everything because of the sun. He can see the world because the sun's there, but he's not staring at the sun.
I wonder if, if that's what it is, though. Is it that people who, here's what I think. I think there's probably a lot of people who have faith in God, and even faith particularly in Jesus and specific religion and denominations, who don't actually feel it but have faith. They believe it. Mm-hmm. But I do believe there's probably a lot of people who literally experience this. I've met them. They've told me these stories. Mm-hmm. And so to them, it's as plain as day as I see the sky, I feel the presence of God. And then I think that there are people like Bill Maher who lack the perception for something like this and also don't believe it. So they say, you all must be crazy because however I see the world is the way you must see the world, instead of realizing he just has a different perception from somebody else.
There's a strong hint of arrogance and belittling in that comment too. Like,
Yeah.
you want to question somebody else's faith, like you better come with receipts that you know the answer.
Yeah, one of the things that I said earlier, I'm in a heavy metal band, and that's my gig outside of this. And I spent past 25 years touring with all kinds of people, and a significant portion of them are atheists, right? Committed atheists, I don't believe. And one of the things that they continually say is things like, "Oh, the spaghetti monster in the sky," and they belittle it. And it's like, I've always found that so arrogant and such a ridiculous take on religion, because something that I've said that's totally true, but it's something that I talk about a lot. In every human society, forever, for all the times that there's been humans, and likely pre-humans, likely the Neanderthal and other things that were before humans, they likely had religion. So in every society that humans have ever had, no matter how far they are separated in time or distance, there was religion. So to think, in the past 15 seconds, we figured out that we don't need that. And now all of the things that came with religion, and they only focus on bad things, like, times that there was excesses or times where you could cast religion as a negative. All those things don't matter anymore because now I'm so enlightened and I don't need any of that stuff. And it's just such a pompous and ridiculous, thoughtless position to hold, and it drives me nuts hearing people say things like, "Oh, the spaghetti monster in the sky." It's
The spaghetti monster thing I find funny because it's like, imagine you yelled that there is a giant grizzly bear behind you and they went, "What?" And you were like, "It is a gigantic beast. It's covered in hair. It's got big teeth." And like, "Oh, you believe in the furry bear. Oh, I don't believe you." And you're like, "I am warning you." Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel and we will see you all there.